Alrighty, people. Lots to talk about. So many updates via news today that will impact fantasy football. Players getting cut, players getting put on season-ending IR,
That's right.
roles for certain players that are confusing that you're drafting in the first two rounds. There's a lot to talk about. In fact, I had two more ranking videos. We just released wide receiver rankings. I had two more ranking videos already recorded and ready to go. And the news in the last 24 hours completely ruined it. I'm going to have to re-record both of those videos, but it's good to get some more information.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Let us know who's in the chat with us. We see Trent, we see Dan, we see Jeremy, we see Nick. Macy says 9 days till kickoff. What's up,
Bulk it
Bobby
up.
D in the building? Zach says Kyren as a punt returner. Definitely, I think something we should discuss. This hasn't drastically moved him down my rankings. He's still in the same tier, but I have moved him slightly down some other names that I think are a little bit more reliable at this point. But let's talk about that Kyren Williams report. All right, so Sean McVay comes out and says Kyren Williams is going to return punts for them. If you guys don't know, historically, that's not been a very good sign. If you have your starting running back and you're planning on using him in the special teams area of, the field, it's not historically been a good sign. So we do need to digest that. And Twitter seems to have no interest in working today, so I can't show you the report, but just know that there is a report that came out, and Sean McVay said he wants to use Kyren Williams as a punt returner. Now, the first thing we have to ask is Sean McVay's usage reports reliable? As in, can we trust what he says? Does he follow through on how he predicts usage? Well, we have Coach Speak Index now. And Coach Speak Index does show us that, yes, he is a trustworthy coach. This is over 20 years of data on all these coaches from Coach Speak Index, and he is a trustworthy coach when it comes to usage and workload. So, again, I am not suggesting that we completely abandon Kyren Williams. I'm not suggesting that you don't draft him. Funnily enough, I got clowned on the Flock Fantasy channel for talking about my concerns with Kyren Williams. And, again, I'm not saying don't draft him, but he has moved down slightly for me over other names. So, for example, I was comfortable taking Kyren over Etienne. I'm no longer doing that. I was comfortable taking Kyren over Derrick Henry, over Jonathan Taylor. I'm no longer doing that myself. I am now personally taking those four names. They're all in the same tier for me, but I would take Etienne, Henry, Taylor all over Kyren Williams.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
No, that's kind of the names that I was going to say. Etienne, Henry. I already had Taylor over Kyren Williams, so I felt comfortable. I feel tremendously more comfortable, putting Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry over Kyren Williams. I mean, the biggest concern here, obviously, with Kyren Williams in the punt return is injury. What is that going to look like? Obviously, he struggled with injury coming in to the NFL draft. His first year was essentially nothing. And then, obviously this past year, he did miss, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 games, was still a top guy. It just puts him more at risk to getting injured in that punt return scenario. And the fact that they're putting him in there gives you even more confidence of what potentially Sean McVay is seeing in Blake Corum, and saying, what, if Kyren does go get those punt returns and gets injured, I'm 100% okay because we got Blake.
It gives him more security to try things like that. And if he didn't have trust in Blake Corum, he probably doesn't come out and say this. He probably doesn't put Kyren Williams in that role. So, again, don't hear what we're not saying. We are not saying don't draft Kyren Williams. What we are saying is there are maybe some safer picks in round 2 that you can make instead of Kyren Williams, mainly Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne, Jonathan Taylor. Those are the main names for us. And I have said this so many times this offseason, but Blake Corum remains my favorite handcuff in all of fantasy football. And he might not even be a handcuff. I mean, he might have a serious role at some point this season. He's my RB 35 right now. That feels too low, but that's where he has ended up in my projections So we are definitely Blake Corum people on this channel. A lot of other news like AJ Dillon. Just stay tuned to the channel, okay? There is a lot of updates coming out with rankings. And let me ask the chat right now. If you could have one video released tomorrow and it was either the top 50 overall player rankings or running back rankings, which video do you prefer to come out tomorrow? Do you want the top 50 overall players or do you want running back rankings? One of those videos is going to release tomorrow. Tell me in the chat right now which one you prefer to have. So, and it looks like a lot of people are saying
everyone's
top 50
saying
overall.
Yeah, overall. Okay.
So good to see. But I do think that today's news all around, a lot has changed. I really truly do. Not drastically, but I think we just have more or less confidence in certain players when we are drafting. So, all right. Why don't we go ahead and tell people how they can join this mock draft, Badaki?
Yeah, guys. Join our Discord. That link is in the description. I'll put that link in the chat as well. Join our Discord. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft that we're going to be doing here. We're probably going to be limiting, this is probably the last week. We're going to be doing mock drafts until probably by the end of this week. We're going to start doing Q&As or the early next week. So keep that in mind. But I'll send that link out here in that Discord channel. It is first come, first serve. 3, 2, 1. There goes that link for you guys. But yeah, keep in mind, we are going to be transitioning to Q&As. When do you guys want Q&As? That's also another big thing. Should we start doing Q&As, Thursday or maybe even tomorrow, or should we just wait until early next week?
Tomorrow we have a real draft.
Yeah, tomorrow we have a real draft, actually. So, because I think that's pretty big. I think once these drafts are done for the community, it's all about, live Q&A, start sit questions.
Yeah.
We're going to be knocking those out.
All right, well, let's get to this mock draft. This is a start 8, 1 quarterback PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex spots. Let's get this thing going here. We do have a like goal today of 80 likes. If we reach 80 likes, we will pop off a second mock draft for you guys, and we'll keep this party rolling. So do us a favor. If you want to help the channel grow, if you want to keep this party going, want to keep mock drafting, then go ahead and smash that like button for us to get to that goal. And our goal is to get to 20,000 subs before week 1. We are currently at 19,165, so we are getting there as well.
This.
What the hell is this down here? You see that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you see that? Can you see that like on the screen? Like I don't see anyone else doing that.
I guess you can react to picks. That's interesting. Anyway, I am on the clock here. I think you can go a lot of different ways here. For me, I'm going to grab Jamar Chase, but there's probably 3 names I could have made. 3 picks I could have made at that point. Between Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, I think they're all great options at the 104. In fact, I would probably rather be at the 106 or 7 than the 104 this year. The 101 to the 103, those first 3 picks I really like because you're going to get one of those elite players. But if you can get in the 106, 107 range, and then you have an earlier pick in round 2, I think that's one of my favorite options as well. All right, so Breece Hall off the board, Bijan Robinson off the board after Amon-Ra, and then Justin Jefferson. Now Badaki is up on the clock here. And what are you thinking? I feel like I know exactly what you're going to do here. But
yeah, I know. You know where I'm going to go, but I'm going to switch it up. We were just in Texas. Corey really convinced me of potentially taking Garrett Wilson over A.J. Brown. So let's try it. I like the narrative of everything of Garrett Wilson. Is it too early? I still have A.J. Brown above Garrett Wilson, but let's just see how this feels. This is why we mock, because I do have the 9 spot in one of my leagues. Maybe I go Garrett Wilson. You never know.
Yeah. Yep. All right, trying to catch up with the chat. Scribble says, what are the emojis? They're brand new. It looks like when someone drafts. Let me hide up my screen. Maybe you guys can see them at the bottom. You guys see them at the bottom right there? That's some new feature they have where you can react to someone's pick, I guess. I don't see why that's necessary, but okay. Sleeper always doing their thing.
They always updating, always improving.
What's up, Mustang? He says, screwed up my draft. Good luck to y'all still drafting, and don't make bonehead moves like draft tight ends in the same bye week. You're good, man. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. All right, in the first round, we have 5 running backs, and we have 7 wide receivers. That wouldn't make sense. That math wouldn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
So we
be mathing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, no, I was right. The math does add up. In the second round, we get Puka Nacua, Saquon Barkley, Marvin Harrison, who finally has his picture updated as well. That's cool to see. You go Travis Etienne there at the 204. And then Bendy Locks on the board went Jefferson in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this update either. It's just,
I don't know. It's fine. It just feels unnecessary.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna go out of my way. I guess this helps if, like, you're drafting with a bunch of Randys.
Yeah, so you can trash on their picks.
Yeah,
it's a mental warfare type of game.
100%.
Just every pick someone makes.
No question. All right, Drake London off the board. Now Daniel Macy here with Bijan Robinson and Derrick Henry. That makes sense there.
Yeah, I got Derrick Henry at the 210 in the Flock League. I got clowned for it. Don't understand why, but I did.
Clown him.
Yeah, this makes Kyren a more difficult pick now. Everyone's asking the question, do I take Kyren here? Everyone's asking that question while they're on the board. Weston's going to do it.
West definitely took it. He's like Brees Hall, Kyren Williams.
Keith, yes, Jordan Mason will be the RB2 in San Francisco. Definitely someone to monitor. I think it's still the same situation, though. He's not a startable player unless CMC goes down. So ask yourself if you were going to roster, before this news, if you were going to roster Elijah Mitchell. Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for you guys, but, Yeah,
he definitely wasn't, at least in my eyes, a priority to go out and try and to acquire if I had CMC. But maybe for some other people there was.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of hate this spot on the board here with, like, a passion. It's probably too early for Jalen Waddle, but I'm going to take him here at the 209. Okay. I am a huge fan of Waddle. I think there's a huge bounce back upcoming for him. But honestly, at the 209, I genuinely feel like that is the worst spot on the board if this is how it pans out. Because I could have taken 10 players. You could have sold me on 10 players there. You could have sold me on Nico. You could have sold me on Jacobs. There's 7 more players on the board you could have sold me on here. So I'm not a huge fan of that spot.
Yeah, obviously you're really confident in taking one of those top players in the top 5 picks in the first round. But once it comes back to you there, you're like, ooh, what to do? Josh Jacobs in the second round. I think.
Okay. Sorry, just quickly, you can turn the emojis off by that little icon at the top right by the draft.
Oh yeah, get it out.
Yeah.
Get him out.
Sorry, yes, Josh Jacobs at the 211.
I mean, I guess
the reason Jacobs has been going later in drafts is because we know Green Bay, they like to spread the ball around with their running backs, usage-wise. But if they have literally no one to give the ball to outside of Josh Jacobs, he becomes a much easier pick to make. A.J. Dillon out for the year. We talked about this. Marshawn Lloyd can't stay healthy. Emmanuel Wilson is a sleeper you should probably add in deeper formats. That was really the guy I was hoping was going to fall to me there.
Pacheco.
Yeah, I was really wanting Pacheco at that pick. All right, we don't get Pacheco there. Man, again, on the spot, I just feel like this is disgusting.
Sure. Oh boy. 4 seconds.
We'll grab Mike Evans here.
Okay. Mike Evans off the board. Devonta Smith. Thought you would go somewhere else there, but that's okay.
Harrison says, what are your thoughts on taking Jamar Chase over St. Brown in PPR? Yeah, I have had those guys in the same tier. I don't really mind which way you go either way between those two names. But for me, I just think we quickly forget how good Jamar Chase was the last time Joe Burrow was healthy, right? I mean, 1 year removed from Jamar Chase averaging over 20 points per game. So I get it with Amon-Ra. He's a safer play. But I think if both of these players reach their true potential and their true ceiling this year, I think Jamar Chase is the one, who could be scoring 24 points per game type of season. Amon-Ra, yes, he's much safer. I'll give you that. But again, like the true upside, ceiling outcome, I think Chase is the one I'd rather own, specifically when it comes to like touchdown equity. Okay. Trent says Zach just cussed his dog out. I definitely said, hey, relax. You took the neighbors there at the 309?
Yeah, I have somebody else technically higher, but I think he potentially comes back to me. Let's see, maybe I'm wrong.
This is what's funny about the second round, pretty much from the 208 onwards. I wholeheartedly believe you can make an argument for any player that went from the 208 to the 309 that they could be the right pick at the 209. You could sell me on Neighbors over Waddle. You could sell me on Ayuk or Debo or Diggs or Smith or Evans or Pacheco or Jacobs over Waddle. You could sell me on any of these names over Waddle. I genuinely believe, like, all the way across the board here, all these picks are in a similar tier in my mind.
Okay, so that was DJ Moore. I do have DJ Moore one spot ahead of Neighbors. I got DJ Moore in the Flock League. There, that 309 spot. Actually, I had the 10 spot, excuse me, so the 310.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce off the board.
Friendly reminder, like goal today is 80. We're already at 50, so we're just 30 likes away.
Come on, baby.
Reach 80 likes, we will pop off a second mock draft with you guys. We'll get a whole new group of people in who can mock draft with us and prepare for their league. But recapping round 3, heavy wide receiver round. In fact, 9 out of the 12 picks were wide receivers in round 3. We get our first tight end off the board at the 312. We get our first quarterback off the board at the 402. And now J-Mac is on the clock. 2 wide receivers and a running back. He goes Sam Laporta. And now Badaki, you're up here at the 404.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Not again.
There's actually so many people I could take right here. I'm going to switch it up, though. I'm going to go and solidify my running back, and I'm going to take James Cook here.
All right.
PPR league.
James
I'm getting
Cook.
dogs. I'm getting dogs here.
So, I didn't really realize that Mark Andrews wasn't practicing. By the way, just something to discuss. Missed practice on Monday. The situation is getting a little bit concerning as we don't have all the details or reasons why he's not participating. He was involved in a car accident a couple weeks ago that was reported to be minor, but it's possible that he's still being affected by that situation. So, something to think about. I just drafted him yesterday in our Charlie League, but definitely something to consider.
Who is this you were talking about?
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews? Yeah. Okay. Apparently, Coach Speak Index has a Discord. Well, Coach Speak just tweeted out 13 minutes ago, waiting on Sean McVay presser right now. That. Y'all are freaking out way too much over this Kyren Williams punt return headline. I'll drop the video and notes in the private Discord. Which is super
interesting because if you use his own database, we should take it seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more of his thoughts because
I'm interested in trying to get into that Discord, unless it's like a paid Discord. I was trying to find the link there for Coach Speak Index, but
we'll grab Joe Moneybags here at the 409. Hey, Joe Moneybags, a very popular player to hate this year. I don't know if you realized that.
Yeah, nobody really likes him. I mean, I think it's because of how people are realize the inefficiency, but he continues to score and reproduces or outscores his ADP essentially.
But that whole argument, and you're right, that's what people keep saying, how inefficient Joe Mixon is. you could have used that argument 7 years in a row for Joe Mixon. He has never been a super efficient running back. He's always been a low efficient running back that can handle a large amount of the work, good pass catcher on a good offense. And that's pretty much exactly what he's got this year. Good offense, low efficiency is going to be so many red zone attempts. I mean, I don't know. I don't get the hate personally. As Rashee Rice off the board at the 410. I love me some Rashee Rice. I miss the days where you could get Rashee in the 6th and 7th round.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy thinking about it now.
Gone.
Yeah. Behind us for sure.
What's up, Dell? We did talk about Kyren. All I can say is just watch out for the next couple of videos coming out on the channel in the next couple of days. As you guys go into drafts this weekend, we're going to get you fresh, updated rankings. And honestly, Badaki, I think we already need to update our cheat sheet. As annoying as that is, I think the cheat sheet's got to be updated with the new news and new rankings.
Yeah, and obviously, if you guys don't have that, you know, definitely go to the Flock Fantasy website, use that promo code LAND, and we're going to be updating that because I know you guys are drafting this weekend. We created that for you guys, and if you're already part of the, you know, the Flock Fantasy website with our promo code, you already have access to that cheat sheet, and we're going to be updating those rankings. Like I said, we're here probably either today or tomorrow. Most likely today, actually, and it'll be up for you guys tomorrow morning. So definitely keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
Mark Andrews at 5-1, pretty good there.
Yeah, I like it. I took him in the 4th round, I think, recently, so I like it. Higgins off the board there. So Tebow starts with 3 receivers, 2 running backs. Ryan here has just sniped me. He is just stuck that right in my heart.
Kincaid.
So we are going to have to pivot.
Pivot.
Ooh, the running backs are gross here, aren't they?
Yeah, they kind of. Well, I'm glad I got a running back because I knew these guys weren't going to come back to me here.
Honestly, fuck it. I'll take Kyle Pitts here. You know, I feel better about Dalton Kincaid, but I will take Kyle Pitts there in a start 8.
Yeah, yeah.
All reports are that he is on another level this year with Kirk Cousins leading the way over there in Atlanta. I expect him to get 22% or so of the target share on an offense, by the way, that means something. Like 22% of a target share in an Arthur Smith led offense doesn't mean much. 22% of a target share in an offense that's led by this coaching staff definitely will. Same coaching staff that you saw in Los Angeles last year with the Rams. So, yes, sir. But it's great to have you guys here in the chat. We appreciate y'all big time. You know, you're probably getting your fantasy drafts going here soon. A lot of you probably have already done some of your fantasy drafts, but you've got more upcoming. Just like us, we're in the same exact situation. We've done, I think, a third of our fantasy drafts, and we have so many on the way. By the way, go subscribe to our new YouTube channel if you have yet to do so. This channel focuses on short form content, so go subscribe over there. What's the type of content that's coming out on this channel, Badaki? Lots of good stuff coming out, but remind me, what's on the schedule? Every day we're releasing a video, maybe twice a
day. Every day, exactly. Every day or twice a day, we're going to be releasing some content here. I have a series coming out of like, what is your first round going to be looking like in your drafts? Obviously, I know you guys are doing a lot of your drafts this weekend. So I'm going to lay that out for you here coming into the next couple of days here. So go check that out. Once again, make sure you subscribe there.
Bust players, value players, sleepers, what to draft at certain positions. It's all there. So go subscribe, be a friend. Currently at 104 subscribers, which is incredible. So go subscribe over there to show some love. Link is in the chat. So
Worthy.
I was going to say, yeah, Xavier Worthy at the 5'11". I mean, at what point does it get to be too high for Xavier Worthy?
I mean, that feels high.
Yeah, I mean, what are the other receivers that are available, I guess, in this range? Keenan, Kirk,
I guess
Reed?
Yeah, exactly.
Reed is tough.
How confident are you in taking Xavier Worthy over Keenan, Kirk, and Rome?
Keenan,
I think there's conversation.
I'm fine taking him over Keenan. I'm fine taking him over Rome. But I think Reed, Godwin, Ridley, that's a little more difficult to get on board with. Anthony Richardson off the board at the 601 there. 369 says, Zach, glad he sniped you because I didn't get sniped. I wanted Kincaid as well. It's unfortunate, brother. We both missed out, unfortunately. Scribble says, guys, I'm worried about Pat Fryermuth now. What's happened in the last couple of days that's made you more worried about him, I guess?
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm curious on.
Respectfully, he was already dead to me. Just purely based off the quarterback play. Didn't love the quarterback play. Obviously, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields there.
I wouldn't say he's dead to me personally, but I do think he's like
there.
just not someone I'm excited about.
Yeah, 100%. And I think things can change. He's still a young tight end. I mean, if I'm saying he's dead to me in the redraft perspective this year. I think in a dynasty perspective, he is somebody that you can stash. Is the Steelers going to be a team that's going to be getting one of these quarterbacks? You know, we talk about, are the Cowboys going to sign Dak Prescott? Hypothetically, what if he goes to the Steelers and then there's new life with some of these players, right? Like, that could be any quarterback, not just Dak Prescott. That's the first one that came to mind because he does have a contract situation. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Calvin Ridley, someone I wanted this round. Jackson Smith and Jigba, someone I wanted this round. Jaden Reed, another player I wanted this round. Deontay Johnson, I wanted this round.
I think we are seeing the way people are going to be drafting in home leagues. We're seeing the hype as we get closer and closer to drafts. Rashee Rice in the 4th, Worthy in the 5th, Deontay Johnson early 6th. I mean, we're getting there. Now you're on the clock.
I am on the clock. We are going to grab James Conner here, which is maybe the first time this entire offseason I've clicked draft on James Conner's name. But we did it, and we'll see how we feel about it here in a second, depending on how the board falls. Preseason usage. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Harrison says, would it be bad going Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs in a draft? Well, I mean, would it be bad? No, I'm not going to say would it be so bad. I mean, if you go Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, you're probably not going to be upset about it. But
yeah,
is it ideal? I mean, ideally, you want to spread your seed all over the place, right? But
come on, get him out there.
But
that's what you want, you know?
I can't say it's bad. It's not ideal, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
And like if Jacobs is the clear best running back on the board, and you want Love, don't pass on him because you want Love. You know, don't overthink it in that fashion, if that makes sense. As James Conner, Ramondre Stevenson, David Montgomery all off the board. So we started a little bit of a running back run after the wide receiver run hit. So I feel very good about going running back there.
We are seeing how people are going to be drafting. I'm telling you. I mean, Tony Pollard in the 6th. I think that's the earliest. Javonte Williams in the 7th. I'm pretty sure that's the earliest. Normally you see Pollard and Javonte, correct me if I'm wrong, late 7th, mid 8th round. They're here going at the 6-7 turn. Brian Thomas off the board. I mean, that's probably another snipe there. Bang.
Shit.
Bang.
Wow. Someone watched the wide receiver ranking video today. Based off ADP, there's no way he should have gone off the board. Someone watched the wide receiver ranking video today.
Come on. Keep watching him.
Shit. All right, we will grab Lad McConkey here as our wide receiver 4. Damn, you just sniped me hardcore, brother. Yeah, we've been Team Brian Thomas all offseason. Highlighted him on today's video. And have him so much in so many different leagues. Very excited about his season. Wow, almost up to 200 watchers, which is kind of crazy. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Come on.
Thanks for hanging out. We have a like goal today of 80 likes. If we reach 80 likes, we will pop off a second mock draft for you guys. So do us a favor and go ahead and hit that like button. Look, if 190 of you guys all decide right now you want to support the channel and you hit the like button, what is the like goal we could actually reach together? Who knows what's possible? Do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you like the content. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, which is insane to say out loud, but it is true. 20,000 subscribers. You can see at the top of your screen now we're at 19,174. Our goal is to hit 20K before week 1. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us, and let's have a good time here.
Come on.
Love the Raheem Mostert pick. I was thinking about drafting him myself at the 704. We are big Raheem Mostert people this year.
Yeah, 100%. Loving it. Look at the value that you can get him at the 7.9, where his teammate going at the 2.8. No disrespect. I've been off of Devon for a while. I think the community is kind of potentially coming around to it just a little bit. But we'll wait.
And I can't even say I've been off Devon. I've just said between the two, Mostert's the easiest guy to pick. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you gotta spend a second round pick on A-Chain, 7th or 8th on Mostert. It's just easier to make that pick, in my opinion.
I agree.
Solf says, even though you're a KC fan, I'll drop a like. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders. Love that.
I understand it. We have put your franchise through hell. All right. I would be upset as well. I get it.
Yeah.
Gooner, what's up? Says Mike Evans scared me. I think him and Godwin will have the same season. Much rather take Godwin where he's going. I can respect it. I am definitely a Chris Godwin person this year as well. I just think touchdown equity is where you're falling short with Chris Godwin, versus Mike Evans. Gator says, thought about going with Burrow, Higgins stack, but decided Stroud instead. Yeah, guys, we will preach this until the cows come home. We do not care about stacks if you're not in best ball. Don't care. If you're in a best ball league, it makes a lot of sense. But in your traditional redraft league, a lot of people will force a stack even though there's a better player available on the board. Never do that. If you have a player who is ranked higher that's available on the board, but you're like, oh, I really want to stack it. Doesn't matter. Stop overthinking it. All right?
Do not force it. 100%. I'm going to take Jake Fergie here.
Love it.
On the comeback.
Shout out to Kim K.
Shout out to Kim K. I'm a great sponsor of the show. I just want to say something. It has flipped already. Brian Thomas Jr. at the 7.3, Christian Kirk at the 7.2. How much further is Christian Kirk going to fall? I thought if he was there at the 8.4, I would have taken him. I'll be completely honest with you. I know things haven't been looking well with Christian Kirk, but his value is tremendously dropping. So keep that in mind.
I have Brian Thomas firmly ahead of Christian Kirk. I think that was a hot take 2 weeks ago. I don't think it's a hot take anymore.
Yeah. So, all right, Jonathan Brooks, who is now going to miss at least the first 4 games of the season, comes back in week 5. Who does he play in week 5 out of curiosity? The Chicago Bears. He has the Chicago Bears, Atlanta Falcons, and the Washington Commanders the first 3 games.
Shout out to the Commanders.
Shout out to the Commanders, huh? Shakira at the 8.8.
We are going to go ahead and grab Tajay Spears here. I don't personally think Tajay and Tony Pollard should have that big of a difference in where they're being drafted.
Yeah.
Tony went at the 6.12. I took Tajay at the 6.9. In my projections, I have them sharing this backfield entirely, both target share and rushing share. So I think Tajay is the more explosive player at this point of his career, but I can definitely see why everyone is in on Pollard. Reports are he's probably the starter, but I just think over the span of an entire season, I do think it will be a true split backfield, and I'll bet on whoever goes later. And an offense that I think could be better this year. Hey, Bandit just commented, and he said, new to fantasy football, could you guys recommend what's a good app for first-timers? In my opinion, and we are not being paid to say this whatsoever, Sleeper is by far the superior fantasy football app. You can fight with a wall if you disagree with me. We have played fantasy football. I mean, I've played fantasy football since the year 2005, okay? So I've played a lot of fantasy football, and to me, by far, the Sleeper app is the superior app in this space. Constantly updating, very user-friendly. The interface is great. It makes sense. If you're going to draft on ESPN, just be aware, ESPN's great, has a large user base, but it hasn't updated in like a decade, all right? They don't really care about updating their app and making it better. So I would say Sleeper personally.
I agree.
But there's not a wrong answer here. Just play wherever your friends are playing and have fun. If your friends are playing on ESPN or Yahoo or CBS or NFL.com, great. That's what matters. Have fun and play the game. You know, that matters more than anything.
Yeah, we definitely recommend Sleeper though. All right. I have a nice little run here in this corner. Trey Benson, Brock Bowers, Joe Burr with Cortland Sutton. Now Tebow is back on the clock here.
Yep, went CJ Stroud at the 7:02. Brock Bowers at the 8:11.
Blake Corum.
Fike says no ESPN updated. They have a draft board now. That is sad that is the update. Like, oh, look at this fancy new update for ESPN. We have a draft board. Guys, you are 7 years late on getting a draft board.
Honestly, have you seen the draft board though?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. No, I'm just saying,
okay.
Everyone keeps saying they have a draft board. Where? I feel like
that's actually a good question because I literally logged into ESPN the other day and did not see a draft board.
I'm gonna join a mock right now. I'm just gonna join a random mock. Yeah, I'm gonna just do one that's gonna fill up really fast here. 7 out of 10, right? Beginners. Boom. Let's just jump into this. Join the league. Return. Waiting. Oh, it's 4 minutes left. Gosh. We'll wait and see if there's actually a draft board for ESPN.
Yeah, I'll get into one as well. Oh, fuck you, ESPN. Never mind. Sorry, guys.
That doesn't make any sense. That has not happened for me.
We did go ahead and take Brian Robinson there. Gooner says he loves the Robinson pick. He would have taken him over Spears. I like both of those guys late in drafts. And honestly, just looking at the board, it felt like running backs were a huge value compared to the wide receiver position. So I wanted to take a wide receiver, but there was no wide receiver that really made sense on the board. You took Jerome Ford. I know both of us have been huge Jerome Ford guys. For months, we've been clowned by the casual fantasy player saying, why don't you have Nick Chubb high in your rankings? We were like, we don't think he's going to play at least the first 5 to 6 games. And now it seems everyone's on the same page there.
He's on the PUP list, and they released Deontay Foreman. So it's Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong, if I'm not mistaken. And it's clearly going to be his backfield until Nick Chubb does get back,
I'll be honest,
I personally don't.
That part was super surprising. I didn't expect them to release Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, same. I completely agree. I was like, okay, well, you either are really excited about Pierre Strong, or maybe they're just going a different route because, Pierre Strong is a different type of back, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's only on the app. Okay.
Oh, I mean, is that really an update then?
Yeah, so it's not on desktop, I guess. Vike says, I'm not going to lie. I think the domain guys dominated the Flock League. Thoughts? I think they had a good team. Obviously, I mean, we drafted our teams, 100%. So we feel good about our team.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about my team.
But we were surprised by the way people drafted. We didn't think it felt like Mason treated it like a best ball league, and I think because Mason
there was a
did
couple
that, other people followed in his steps. So obviously he has a big control over some of those people. Not to say like he told them how to draft, but I just think people were watching him drafting and thought, oh, I have to get a wide receiver here. So anyway, Joe says, as a Kyren as my RB1, should I be shitting my pants about him taking punt returns? Let's find out some more information on him. Shitting your pants, no, but maybe a shart. Maybe you should be sharting your pants.
Maybe you should be sharting.
Not full beans. All right, you never go full beans, but I would say you should be sharding right now. Let's find out some more information.
Yeah, some more information is definitely going to be coming out soon from what we hear. So we'll wait and see what that looks like.
Josh Palmer comes off the board. I like that. Bro, Cha Time? So you guys know Bubble Tea, right? I'm sure all of you know Bubble Tea. They have this like peach bubble tea, and it's wrecking my life. I can't stop drinking them. It's called pop it like it's peach, and I can't get enough of it.
Pop it like it's peach.
All right, we waited on quarterback long enough. Honestly, though, Ryan's the only one who needs a quarterback. I mean, the guys on the edge can take a quarterback if they want. I don't think it would make sense for their team. There's more than enough quarterbacks on the board that I like. So I'll let it go for this round. And we are going to go ahead and hit on Dontavion Wicks here at the 1009 instead. Yeah, there's like 4 quarterbacks I still like. So unless these guys want to clown me, it wouldn't make sense for their team. But
yeah,
I'll let that slide. And you know, that is the biggest tip I can give anyone going into a draft this weekend. Read the board. If you're at the 104, all right, if you're at the 109 or the 110, what do the players on the edge need? All right, are you needing a tight end in round 5 and team 11 and 12 don't have one? Probably time to take a tight end, right? Unless you're reaching on that position. Are you at the 104 and it's, you know, you're at the 409 here, you're about to come around and you know, you want to take an elite quarterback. The quarterback one is still on the board and no one else is taking a quarterback, then, you know how to act. But for example, here I saw at the 104, team 2 and team 1 already have a quarterback. Only Ryan needs one. I can probably punt it until the 11th round. Again, reading the board is so crucial in your leagues.
1,000%. Keep that in mind. I did that in the flock. Watch the flock league. Said the same thing. Look at that. Three quarterbacks off the board.
Yes, the flock league is taking off, by the way, guys. I mean, I don't think wild. I don't think any of, like, we thought people would like watching this. This is a vlog from all the flock creators where we did a draft together. But I don't think we expected people like it this much. I mean, it's almost got 70,000 views.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of
it's probably going to pass us up on subscribers in season, which is crazy because we've been building this channel for like 2 years now. But you know, people love to see that side. It was really, really fun to be a part of, and it's fun to see your feedback. And this is perfect. We'll grab my guy this year in Jaden Daniels here. So in a start 8, our starting roster looks like, let's have a look here. Jaden Daniels, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, Mike Evans, Lad McConkey. McConkey is interchangeable in the flex with Tajay or Brian Robinson. I really love what we were able to build out so far. As Rashid Shaheed also comes off the board. Big shout out to you guys. We did reach our like goal, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Our like goal was 80 when we're already at 85 likes. You guys are great. We really appreciate you. Let's set a new like goal. Let's get crazy here. Let's say 150 likes equals a third mock draft. All right, let's set a really audacious goal here.
I'm gonna take one of the guys I'm liking this year, Jaleel McLaughlin. Loving everything coming out of preseason. I think he's going to be one of the guys in this backfield that Javonte doesn't really like. Once Javonte struggles a week or two, I think Sean Payton is not. You know, those chances for him is just going to be very limited.
Yeah.
And Jaleel's going to instantly come in and take over that backfield. I know, if I'm not mistaken, Samaje Perine is no longer with his team. He was a cut casualty or a trade asset here soon, and it's going to be Jaleel, Javonte, and Aldrick Estime there. So,
yeah. Wait, why is the draft board so short in this league? Oh, is this right?
3, 4, 5,
is this really right? 1, 2, 3.
I think so. I'm gonna refresh the draft board. Hold on, let's see.
Should be one more round, I think. Yeah. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. Anyway, guys, we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We are going to get another mock draft going. Hey, if you were in the mock draft that just took place, all right, I'm talking to Nick, Tebow, Ryan, 369, Shimmy Shimmy Shine, Weston, D Macy, Bendy Locks, J Mac, Kevin, and Steel Curtain. If you guys were just in that mock draft, please let other people get into this next one. Let's help the community out. The whole goal of these streams is to get you guys prepared for your drafts. But if you guys want to join this next mock draft, how can they get into it, Badaki?
Yeah, guys, join that Discord that I just spammed in the chat. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange football to the left of your screen. And then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft. Once again, it is first come, first serve. But if you did join a mock draft like Zach has mentioned already, please give someone else another opportunity here. And once I get that link, I'll send that link out in the chat.
Yeah, we'll do start 7 this time because I know a lot of you guys are in start 7 formats, so want to be as helpful as possible. Started with the start 8, going to go to a start 7. If we reach the next like goal, we'll vote on what you guys want. But remember, the next like goal is 150. There's 178 of you in this stream right now watching. If everyone were to hit the like button right now, we could easily hit that next like goal. So if you want to keep the party rolling, be a friend and help the channel grow by hitting that like button. Man, Jahan Dawson's ADP should be so far down now. Like, he should be buried, but he's not yet. All right, at the running back spot, I think we're gonna grab like a Marshawn Lloyd here. He didn't go on the pup, so that tells me he can play at some point in the first couple weeks. And clearly AJ Dillon won't be a problem.
Yeah.
So I think they'll really want Marshawn Lloyd to be a part of this offense sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I completely agree. So Marshawn Lloyd is definitely a riser for me. I mean, with all due respect, I don't think Emmanuel Wilson is going to be the next guy up. If he does, it's just going to be a reliever, maybe a down or two. But I think Marshawn Lloyd, which I think we both kind of been, at least I've been preaching, saying like he's going to get work in this backfield. But
yeah,
now,
I definitely think if he can stay healthy.
Now that pushes back. Yeah, now that pushes back for sure. Like, I was expecting it to be immediate. Like, okay, he could potentially have an impact in the first couple weeks, but I think now we're going to see that more towards the second half of the season.
Yeah.
By the way, we do have 2 more spots. I would say if you were in a mock draft already, just join.
We already sent that link out. My bad. Yeah, right. I am gonna. Anytime you take a Daniels or a Caleb, guys, and that's your quarterback 1, make sure you handcuff them. Not handcuff them, but just get some security so you can start that player week 1. For example, Jared Goff. If you look at Jared Goff's schedule to open up, it's Cupcake, it's Cheeks. He's got the Rams, the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and I'm pretty sure most of those are in a dome anyway. So we'll take Jared Goff here at the 1304 to just be that security with Daniels. Daniels, show it to me first, then I can drop Goff or trade one or the other and move on with my life. But hey, I wanted to make a video for you guys next week. Who is the best stash in fantasy football to grab before week 1? That's what I want to ask you guys, all right? So who is the best stash, all right, in fantasy football to grab before week 1? So if you look at your waiver wires right now, you know, a player that will be widely available in waiver wires, that's what I want as an answer from you guys. What's that Charlie from, this could be a good meme to put, yeah. So if you guys want to be a part of that video, whatever the most liked comment is, or whoever is the most commonly commented person, I'm going to include in that video. So I'll put this link in the chat just over on my Twitter. Go reply there. That's just a place where I can keep all of your responses in one place. So we're going to make a video and hopefully help out as much of the fantasy community as we possibly can.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. By the way, I took Brock Purdy at the 13-9. A lot of good available quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, this is one quarterback. I mean, I can even throw out Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Will Levis, Baker Mayfield, if you really wanted to go that route. Obviously, Jared Goff was available in the 13, so was Tua, so I'm loving it.
Yeah, Tua feels like such a safe pick late as well. So, All right, we are going to go to the next mock draft because we did reach our original like goal, which was 80. You guys are great. Thanks for the love. And we're going to go and do a start 7 mock draft, okay? So in this format, you are starting 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a single flex spot. This is probably the most common format for your average fantasy football player. And let's turn those emojis off as well. as C.D. Lamb and Christian McCaffrey are already off the board. What's up, Mobile? He says, what's your favorite source for looking at the stats you want to look at? I'll be honest with you, dude. I have so many sources for research. Fantasy Pros has some good. PFF Premium Stats is great. Big shout out to RotoViz or Fantasy Points Data Suite. There are so many. NFL Next Gen Stats is great. Reception Perception. I mean,
so much.
There's so many. 4 for 4. So many good resources out there. Yeah, I hear you, Michael. He definitely has a fumble issue. Daniel Macy says, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Absolutely.
Come on, Mason.
I love that motto. We're going to grab Breece Hall here. In a start 7, I'm going to approach it differently than a start 8. I got to worry about one less flex spot. That running back position just means a little bit more to me.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, we do like to prioritize wide receivers in the flex position. So the more flex positions you have, the more wide receivers you do want to draft. And also depending on how your board falls there in your mock drafts or in your actual real drafts as well.
Absolutely. All right, so in the first 10 picks, we see 3 running backs, 7 wide receivers, but we do get Jonathan Taylor at the 111. And then Ben DeLox here at the 112 has back-to-back picks.
Let's see.
He goes Saquon Barkley to start, which I feel very comfortable taking Saquon Barkley. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't mind Saquon. I took Saquon Barkley in that flock league in the second round. Got AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, a little bit of an interesting start going to Eagles, but they were the best player available, to be completely honest with you, and I was okay with that. Marlon Harrison Jr. and then Kyren Williams at the 2-2.
Okay.
So Harper,
broke money don't make none, is what Harper just said.
And he is not worried about this punt return, or maybe it's all smoke. Maybe he thinks it's smoke and he is not buying into it, and he's saying, "I'm going to get Kyren Williams now."
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. I'm really interested. Oh, man. All right. A good run here. Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, and then Puka Nacua off the board. Cameron has Justin Jefferson here at the 107. Let's see where he's going to go. He goes Etienne. I think maybe that's where Zach wanted to go potentially.
Definitely someone I was considering. You know, we say this often. In a start 7, I care way less about risk. Way less about risk. All right. So in this format, I'm comfortable taking Devon Achane. I will shoot for the sky here. It's just so extremely easy to fill out that starting roster in a start 7 that it really doesn't make sense to avoid risky players. In a start 9, when you have to worry about a much larger roster and all that, it makes sense to maybe avoid risk, but in this format, I just don't care as much.
Yeah. Chris Olave.
Appreciate you, Solving Donkey. Thanks for hanging out. Smirko says, is Cup a reach at the 210 in a 12-man PPR or double flex? So start 8. Is it a reach? I don't know, but I don't think I would take him there. I mean, you got other names like Nico Collins that are probably available.
Yep.
You're probably drafting him over Devon Achane.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an ETN is there. A London. Holy shit, I wish I realized London was on the board. That's my fault, guys. I should have drafted London at the 207.
I didn't want to say anything because he kept falling, and I was like, I'm really hoping.
Damn, I messed up.
Yeah, I mean, same. All right, I'm gonna do this.
What are you thinking?
I'm gonna go Travis.
All right, Travi.
I'm liking these onesie positions here in the start 7. I feel like I need to go a running back right here. I want to try this.
What's up, Sunraker? Welcome in, my man. Good to have you on the stream.
I'm gonna take Rashad White.
Wow, that's got to be the wait. So you have White over Pacheco? That's a new conversation.
No, I don't have White over Pacheco. I didn't want Travis Kelce and Pacheco.
Okay.
So I definitely have Isaiah Pacheco over Rashad White. So let's keep that clear. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't want to build it. I didn't want to build it in that way, having Pacheco and Kelsey. I feel like that limits my upside, especially in the start 7 in my eyes. So I thought if it's in the PPR format, Rashad White got a lot of those opportunities in the air. So why not go out and try and get Rashad White now? Because I know these running backs aren't going to come back to me.
We're going to grab Jalen Waddle here. We do get 2 Dolphins. It's not ideal. I will admit that. Not ideal to get 2 Dolphins. But if you're going to get 2 players from the same team, maybe the best offense in the NFL on a per-touch basis. It certainly was last year for fantasy football. Fantasy points per touch, the Dolphins were number 1. So I'll take a shot on Waddle there as well. Marcelo, I don't think I really fully understand this question here. I want to reply, but he says, y'all don't see Kyren being a punt returner as the rookie running back taking some of the load. I don't fully understand which part of that is the question. Let us know.
Sure.
Let us know what we are missing there. We appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Just a friendly little update. We are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers before week 1. We appreciate y'all big time. If you have yet to subscribe yet, be a friend, hit that sub button. You can see already people subscribing over the last couple minutes. Help us get to 20,000 subs before week 1. Genuinely, guys, I can't even believe that is something that we're saying. That feels foreign to me. We just started a podcast one year because we wanted our league to have a podcast, and then it turned into a YouTube channel, and for some reason now people like listening to us, and we could be at 20,000 subscribers at some point.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. So we appreciate you guys, all the support and everything you guys been doing here.
Marcelo says, Sean McVay said Kyren is a Rams punt returner. I think the rookie running back they drafted is going to maybe half the carries. I'm off Williams now. Okay, so it was a question about how do we feel about it, I guess. Is that the question? We've talked about it a lot on the channel. But we definitely moved him down our rankings. We wouldn't take him over Gibbs or Henry or Etienne. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I guess if that's what you're saying, we agree.
Yeah, completely agree there.
Jalen Hurts comes off the board, as well as Ken Walker.
Okay.
Mark Andrews. I'm going to grab Trey McBride here. Appreciate you, 369. Very, very kind of you.
X gonna give it to you. Come on, baby.
He says, London is someone I'm afraid of. Can you teach me why he's a good second, third rounder? London, the issue with Drake London has never been talent. He's always been a uber talented player. Mm-hmm. In a way, it's like, well, if you're worried about London, you should be worried about Garrett Wilson.
Well, exactly.
I get it. Different players, right? Different expectations. But if you're worried about London, you should also be worried about Garrett Wilson. Why? Because these are 2 players that were drafted in the top 10 of the NFL draft who have been stuck behind terrible quarterback play, but have seen a high percentage of the target share. So you can make the same case for Garrett Wilson, but overall, we don't play fantasy expecting an injury. And if Garrett Wilson has a healthy Aaron Rodgers, if Drake London has a healthy Kirk Cousins, that will be the best quarterback play they've ever had, and they can be dominant players. So I definitely get it. Like, it's definitely a projection, but overall, you're actually making the same bet as Garrett Wilson, just later down the board. You know what I mean?
I completely agree here. I'm gonna piss people off.
Okay.
I'm gonna piss people off.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would do that. I mean, we preach against doing that all the time. Why did you want to piss people off with that? I don't get it.
Oh, well, I thought genuinely he was the best value on the board. Dalton Kincaid in a tight end premium, start 7. I'm okay to... Let's just see what happens. I want to see how this is going to feel if I were to be in that position. Yes, I completely agree. This is something we preach against.
I
We
don't
hate
understand
doing
why
it.
you did it, honestly. It's frustrating me because we tell people not to do it, and then you're actively going against what we're
And
telling them to do.
I'm saying I'm going to piss people off. That's why I was
Well, I
purposely
am
I was
people. I
purposely.
am people, so I am pissed off. I don't understand it, but here we are. So Badaki goes 2 tight ends in the first 5 rounds.
Oh
I
man,
don't get it, but I guess he's wanting to be a villain right now.
why not?
But here we are. What's up, Bears fan? He says, not gonna lie, this is my first time watching you guys, and you're very entertaining and give good advice on fantasy topics. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging
I
out with us.
appreciate you, man. That's awesome.
So Tank Dell comes off the board. Devonta Smith. I thought those were 2 huge values when I was looking at the wide receiver position. In fact, they would have made a lot of sense for team number 1. Those would have been really good picks for team number
Really
1.
good
I
picks.
think they would have really helped that team.
Come
But
on.
here we are.
Come on.
The menace role engaged for some reason.
I'm loving it.
Zay Flowers comes off the board. We will take Stephon Diggs here as our wide receiver 2. Feeling good about the squad we are putting together at the moment. Henry says Zach is pissed. I just don't get it because we literally talk about not doing that all the time, but whatever. 369 says, yeah, Garrett Wilson is at least a bit easier to trust, the 4-time MVP. That's true, but you can make an argument that before Kirk Cousins went down, he was a true MVP candidate himself last year, and he was probably playing better ball than what Aaron Rodgers played the year he was healthy just last. So I definitely hear both sides of the argument, though. Trent says Zach is more mad now than the Emmanuel Forbes moment. No, I don't think I'll ever reach that level of rage.
That was
again.
next level. That was like he was pissed off about that. Like
I
y'all need to go watch. Y'all need to go watch
that level of rage. Let me see if I can find that stream for you guys. NFL draft. Because I think it was this one. No, that was 4 months ago. I think it was this from 2023, wasn't it?
I mean, he was also pissed off of the Washington Commanders like brand logo. Like he did like a full like hour stream of like the Commanders revealing their jerseys, their name, and everything.
Yeah, that was an all-time rage moment for sure. I don't want to bore people, but I'll find a time code and I'll send it through. But yeah, that was all time. All right, a lot of receivers go in round 5. Huge run. Man, team 1 really could have used a wide receiver there after that run. Hey, but so many receivers off the board. In fact, 9 out of the 12 picks were wide receivers. So yeah. Scribble says last time we saw both, Kirk was playing at a higher level than Aaron, which is fair. What's up, Johnny says, who do you think I should have as a backup tight end? Bowers or Freiermuth? Bowers for sure.
Bowers, no question.
Bro says, played that so well knowing Badaki had tight end and got screwed for it.
Unlucky. Should have took him.
Jake says, would you rather have a Henry or Williams now? Henry for me.
Henry. Yeah.
Alrighty here. I'm reading the board. I'm seeing what you're putting down here, people. And I'm recognizing that if I'm reading the board here, guys, in a start 7, we want to get an elite quarterback and an elite tight end in this format. All right, I'm reading the board here. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the next 5 players do not have a quarterback. So I am going to go ahead and draft Anthony Richardson here. The ceiling is all-time high with what he can do through the air. We definitely don't love him as a prospect as far as a passer, but in fantasy football, we do love him. And again, in a start 7, I'll take as much risk as I possibly can.
Yeah, high upside.
Again, if you think about that, when I was reading the board there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams were going to make 10 picks until I came up on the board. And 8 of them needed a quarterback. So that's, again, another example trying to read the board in your leagues.
All right, DeAndre Swift off the board.
Um, let's see here. What's up, David? He says, are you guys big on Justin Jefferson this year? I had JJ and Garrett Wilson fall to me at the 9th pick on a 10-team team. So you got both of them. It sounds like that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
So I am much less scared of Justin Jefferson than Badaki is. I definitely understand the concern. Here's where I think the Justin Jefferson discourse falls flat on its face. All right. If you're going to ask anyone why they're not in on Justin Jefferson, they're going to say, well, I don't know if Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. He's never done it. He's probably not going to support a good wide receiver. And this is where it falls on its face, because guess who the backup is for them? Nick Mullins. And guess what Nick Mullins did for Justin Jefferson? Well, Nick Mullins helped Justin Jefferson average over 18 points per game. So if Sam Darnold isn't an upgraded version of Nick Mullins, you might just have Nick Mullins, the same guy who just helped Justin Jefferson average over 18 points per game. So, yeah, personally, I am taking Justin Jefferson, but I can see the path for Garrett Wilson. I can understand why people want to lean that way.
Yeah, for me, I think if I'm going to draft somebody in the absolute first, I feel like I need absolute guarantee, and with that, I don't feel like I'm going to get that with, Justin Jefferson. Now, 18 points per game is good for sure, but I think there's going to be a lot more inconsistencies than what we've seen before. So he's going to be averaging those points, but there's going to be a lot of those weeks where we're going to see, let's say 10 points or 12 points or 9 points or 8 points. And then you're going to have a 25 point, a 28 point, a 31 point. And I think there's going to be a lot more inconsistencies and a lot more frustrating things when it comes down to Justin Jefferson.
Right. So you're saying he's going to win half your weeks and the other weeks he'll be great. He'll be okay. That's totally what I'm looking for.
I'm looking for somebody in my first round that's going to be consistent throughout the whole season. Sure. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to draft somebody that's going to be giving me.
If we want to go by that logic, then why are we taking AJ Brown, who had the worst second half of the season? Like, people are low on Stephon Diggs because he had a shit second half of the season. So did AJ Brown. So if you want to talk about consistency, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Sure. I mean, but AJ Brown has been consistent for the majority of that season. And when we look at the
second half, the entire second half of the season, he was dog shit, respectfully. He was like the wide receiver 40 week 11 onwards.
I mean, okay, when second half of the season last year, 19 points, 17 points, 16, 17, 17, 17, 18, 17. That's consistency to me. That's not 6, then 19, and then 28, and then 5. That's consistency.
Brother, you're joking me.
But like
week 11, 1 point. Week 15, 10 points. Week 17, 9 points. Week 18, negative points.
I must be looking at the wrong thing, because I'm looking at here.
What are we talking about here?
I was looking at the wrong thing. I completely apologize. I was like, exactly. I'm looking at.
What the hell are we saying?
I was looking at the projections.
Bro.
I was looking at the projections, not the actual. So yes, that's inconsistent.
So again,
sure.
Doesn't make any sense to me why that's an argument for people. Again, weeks 10 to 18, you want to talk about consistency and AJ Brown, how he's more consistent? Well, AJ Brown was a wide receiver 36 in fantasy from week 10 onwards.
I mean, look, I understand that, but like the other side that you already mentioned is the quarterback play, and that quarterback play is going to be consistent, unlike Sam Darnold. So like those are two. This is why
I keep saying that argument makes no sense to me. All right, this is Justin Jefferson splits last year with Nick Mullins. 5 games with him, 5 games without him. 5 games with Nick Mullins. Justin Jefferson averaged 18.8 PPR points per game. You're telling me, at worst, Jefferson is playing with Nick Mullins. All right?
I don't know, man.
What are we talking about?
Sure, we can say that, but next year when Justin Jefferson and Sam Darnold, or not Sam, well, not even next year. You're on the clock, by the way.
I am on the clock.
Like where Justin Jefferson is going now I think is going to be right for his ADP and what he's going to be producing. I don't think that's exactly where we should be taking him personally. Like at the one where he's a 1, 2, 3, 4, he's the wide receiver 5 off the board right now. I think that's too high. I don't think he's going to be returning wide receiver 5.
And I'm not telling you to take him at wide receiver 5, but
I'm not saying you are.
Hold
I'm
on,
not saying,
hold
I'm
on,
not saying you are.
Let's be 100% transparent and realistic here. No league you and I have been in at all this year is Jefferson going at the 105. Come on.
Sure.
You are deciding between Jefferson, Brown, and Garrett Wilson.
No,
that's the real question here.
No league that we've been in, but we've seen in multiple leagues where Justin Jefferson has gone at the 5, at the 4, at the 6.
I haven't personally seen that.
In our league, because I mean, we're kind of not saying we're in different leagues, but like, where did he go in our home league? He went at the 5, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to pull it up right now. Hold on.
Let's have a look.
Justin Jefferson went at the 4.
So I'll give you that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you not to do that. By the way, like, let's be very clear.
I completely agree.
Marcelo just dropped a comment. Like, let's be very clear. He says, I'm the biggest Jettas fan, but I'm taking Hill, CD, St. Brown, and Wilson over him. There is no world where we have ever told you guys to take Justin Jefferson over Tyreek Hill or CD Lamb or Amon-Ra St. Brown. That has never existed. Let's be very clear, okay? That is not the argument we're making here. The argument we are making is between, in most leagues, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and Garrett Wilson. So you guys answer the question in the chat. You have to pick between A.J. Brown, Jefferson, or Garrett Wilson. Who are you picking? Let us know in the chat down below.
Yes, and I would just back that. There's not a point where I would say I'm taking, Justin Jefferson over that. My biggest argument is that I think there's going to be a lot more inconsistencies coming from Justin Jefferson this year, and that's going to be because of the quarterback play, and I think that's what's going to be frustrating for Justin Jefferson. So yes, A.J. Brown was inconsistent in the second half last year, but for me, I think we're going to see that's the ADP is correct for A.J. Brown. The ADP is not correct right now for Justin Jefferson.
I disagree. Again, like those arguments fall flat on their face in my opinion, because again, you're talking about two guys who were either inconsistent or we don't know if the quarterback play is going to be as good as it has been. Like, you're talking about A.J. Brown and you're using consistencies. Again, then just ignore half of the year last year. You're talking about Garrett Wilson and talking about quarterback play. Okay, ignore that Aaron Rodgers is a question mark coming off an injury. So, I don't know. I get it, but I think... I don't know. I'm an idiot. What do I know? We're on the clock here, and we're gonna grab probably Trey Benson here in the 9th round. High upside, handcuff if anything were to go wrong.
Let's go 3 draft players. Who they cut? I'm interested.
Who's this?
No, this is like Colts cut like 3 players from the 24 draft class.
Oh, okay. Damn.
I just wonder who.
Early? They gave up on them.
Yeah.
Heads up, guys. We do have a like goal of 150 likes. If we reach 150, we will do another mock draft with you guys. So if you want to see another mock draft, you know how to get one. Again, smash the like button. Help us get to 150. We will do another mock draft with you. And, friendly reminder, if you've been lurking on the channel for a while, as we are pushing towards week 1, now's the time to hit that sub button if you want to help us get to 20K. We are almost 800 subs away from 20,000, which is ridiculous. We appreciate y'all. Maybe you've been lurking. Maybe you've been watching the channel, and maybe you think we have terrible takes, but you want your league mates to see us, right? That's a funny comment we always get. This is the video I want my league mates to see. And we're like, great, thanks for commenting because you're helping the channel grow. But go ahead and subscribe if you have yet to do so.
Love. So that was a huge run of running backs there in the 9th round. Obviously, Dallas Goedert and Dalton Schultz off the board there as well. So I'm glad I took Tajay there.
Keenan at the 1001 is incredibly good value. Like, it makes me feel disgusting about taking Roma Dunze at the 807. In fact, if I knew Roma Dunze was at the 906, I probably would have taken a running back here at the 807 instead. Yeah. A lot of people with different opinions in the chat, which is great to see. That's the beauty of fantasy football, guys, that we can all have different opinions and still come together. So many people giving their opinion in the chat, which is great to see. Yeah. Trent says, let's be real. Are we taking Quentin Johnson over Jefferson?
His QJ every day. Come on.
The freaking Moss says JJ legit has the best all-time numbers at this stage of his career. I agree. But
And
lots
look,
of good
and I would say this.
conversations.
I would say this. The argument is never about Justin Jefferson's talent. It's never that. It's never that. It's always the situation around it. So I just always want to make that clear because every time I bring up Justin Jefferson, I'm like, he's the best of all time. It's like, I agree. I'm with you. I back you. Hate the situation.
Love it. Romeo Dobbs comes off the board. We're going to grab Jalen Polk here in the 10th round. Love Jalen Polk this year. One of my favorite round 10, round 12 type of picks. Gunnar, we're not saying, guys, at this point of their career, right? No one is claiming Justin Jefferson's the best receiver of all time. We're saying at this point of their career, if you look at what Megatron did in his first 5 years, what Jefferson's done in his first 5 years, statistically, Jefferson is the best receiver of all time. Put him against any receiver in their first 5 years, and Jefferson has a better career so far. That doesn't mean he will be the best of all time, right? Why are we so low on Sutton after Patrick got released? I don't know. I didn't really expect Patrick to play a role. I think people are low on Sutton just because there's so many unknowns with this offense. But I do think he's a fine pick later on in drafts. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think that ball's going to be spread around a lot in that offense personally. And maybe Cortland Sutton is going to lead. But, I mean, you just never know who's going to emerge in that offense. You know, could it be Marvin Mims? Could it be Troy Franklin?
Love the Josh Palmer pick there.
Yeah, thanks for that. I continue with the wide receiver run here.
Yeah, go ahead. Millie says, can you elaborate on Jalen Polk? Why did you choose him? Love Jalen Polk this year.
Yeah.
You know, I think the best fantasy players can identify changes from one year to the next in the NFL. Think about it from this perspective. This time last year, if you go back 360 days, was anybody talking about Nico Collins? Was anybody talking about Tank Dell and guys that should be drafted in the first 5, 6, 7 rounds? Was anyone excited about CJ Stroud in the sense of like thinking he could be the best rookie we've seen in the last 5 years at the quarterback position? No, that conversation wasn't happening. So you have to ask the conversation, or you have to ask the question rather, in New England, what if Drake May is good? What if Drake May is actually good? What does that mean for fantasy football? Well, that means Jalen Polk, who is another rookie coming into the NFL with Drake May, building that chemistry with Drake May, could be a huge beneficiary of that equation. So that is that's where this all comes to a head for me personally. If Drake May is actually good, then Jalen Polk will be a huge steal. Pop Douglas will be a huge steal. Think about it last year. We saw Tank Dell as a wide receiver 70 in ADP. Nico Collins as a wide receiver 50 in ADP. Again, no one was betting on the change in Houston. So at this point in the drafts, so late, thinking about upside, thinking about range of outcomes, what could happen in New England? What changes could there be? Yes, the most likely scenario is that the New England Patriots are not good. But what if they are? Because you could have drafted, a steal here in late draft. So
I agree. Love Jalen Polk and the talent. I mean, you have to think about the draft capital as well. Early second rounds, they invest in him. They had other talents on the board. And they go here with Jalen Polk, which I think was a great pick. I liked him coming out of the pre-draft process.
Yeah.
And arguably is already the number one wide receiver, right? Yeah, you have some of these young Demario Douglas, Javon Baker, but Jalen Polk on this offense.
I will say, just to cut in there real quick, you're going to need to be patient with Jalen Polk because he hasn't run with the ones yet. Now, with Juju leaving, with Kendrick Bourne being on the IR, I think he could get action sooner than later, but you do have to deploy patience. Do not start Polk week 1. Don't expect him to be a factor week 1, but don't cut him after week 1 either.
Yeah, it's a long-term play, no question. Yeah. But, I mean, at the moment, he looks like he's going to be the number one guy, even when Kendrick Bourne comes back. And in the draft capital, right? This is a guy that they invested high draft capital. Demario Douglas, 6th, 5th round pick. Javon Baker, 6th, 5th round pick.
Why don't we say it this way? By the end of the season, Polk is the guy we're betting on being the number one. Right? When it matters in the playoffs, Polk is the guy we're betting on. I'll take Curtis Samuel here. I mean, I didn't think he'd fall this far. That's kind of nutty, but I'll take Curtis Samuel there at the 1207. Hey, update, guys. If you want a third mock draft tonight, 150 likes is our goal. We're at 126, so we're about 25 likes away from hitting that like goal. If you want to see another mock draft, go ahead and smash that like button. We got the numbers in the stream. So, again, get us to 150 likes, and we will do another mock draft for you guys right here, right now. That is the goal. Millie says, "Oh yeah, because in my mocks, I've always had an eye for him, just wasn't sure because New England's about to be ass." Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is why they're very cheap, and that's why we have low expectations, but that's why they could return on ADP. All right, so that is the end of the second mock draft there. Again, the like goal is 150. We're at 133, so we're 17 likes away. We need 17 people to smash that like button. And if we get that, let's set a timer. In the next 5 minutes, we'll do another mock draft for you guys here on the channel. Otherwise, I do need to go record some content that's going to come out for you here soon. Lots of updated rankings are needed after the news that's happened the last day or so. So, yes, sir. But we can answer some questions in the chat while we're waiting to see if we reach that like goal.
Ooh.
Ethan says, "Do you like Kylen Granson in Dynasty with Jelani out?" I'm honestly not really interested in any tight end on the Colts, if I'm 100% honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'll put a claim for him for free, but I'm not spending fab on him. You know, like if he's there, sure, I'll pick him up, see what happens. But like, if he's already picked up, I'm not sweating. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Moss says he had Nico stashed for 2 seasons before they and then cut him. Unfortunately, dang, that's tough.
Yeah, Nico. I mean, same. That was me. I sold Nico before the season started last year, thinking like, you know what, I'm just gonna get any type of value for him. I think I sold him for like a third.
Yep.
And I was a big Nico guy in the first 2 years. I was like, you know what, it's not gonna happen anymore.
Yep. The Moss says, "What is your ideal first 5 rounds in a start 8 in terms of construction? Ideally, I'd like to have an anchor running back, 3 wide receivers, and an elite tight end. That's how I'd like to start.
Maybe 2 tight ends.
Definitely not 2 tight ends. I don't know what dumbass would do that." But no, Badaki, come on, you wouldn't do this in a real draft.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this in a real draft. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Cameron says, "How many spots does Kyren fall in your rankings after the news today?" He does fall for me behind Henry,
Etienne.
Taylor for sure. We're taking Gibbs over him for sure. Yeah,
I had Taylor over him already. I mean, look, there could be arguments as we get closer and closer. Like, let me say this: would you take Devon or Kyren? Like, I don't think that's easy. I don't think it's like for sure anymore.
That's a tough answer now. I do think I would still go Kyren.
Because I feel like now they're both in this, like, I'm not saying
like,
they're both in the same situation.
London. I'd rather have London and Puka,
sure,
for example.
I'd rather have London and Puka.
And Marvin.
I agree. Yeah, I'm there with you.
Gunnar says he can only hit the like button once. Yeah, and he's not interested in the Colts, doesn't look like. What's up, Johnny Boy? He says, "Just accepted a trade. I sent Higgins, Kelsey, and Barkley. I received JT, Diggs, and Laporta." So you sent Higgins, Kelsey, Barkley. You received Jonathan Taylor, Diggs, and Laporta. That seems like a pretty fair trade to me.
Yeah, I would say the biggest downfall. I mean, I personally love Higgins over Diggs this year, but I feel like the tight ends cancel each other out and the running backs cancel each other's out. So I feel like if there was an edge, I would want the Higgins side. But
okay. And I am the opposite there. I am Diggs over Higgins, even though I do love Higgins this year. Little update, guys. We have 142 likes on the stream. Our goal is 150. We just need 8 more people to like the stream, and we will do another mock draft for you guys right here, right now. A whole new group of people will be able to join us. So hit that like button. Again, we got to set a timer on this. Let's set a 3-minute timer on this. If we can reach 150 likes in the next 3 minutes, we will do another mock draft for you. Otherwise, we might call it a day just because we do have a lot of work to get to for you. Another question from Millie Mills says, thoughts on Bo Nix in Dynasty? Yeah, we if you don't know, we do have a Dynasty channel.
Yeah.
And
check that out.
That is probably the one player we got roasted the most for this offseason for liking.
Literally.
We loved Bo Nix over on our Dynasty channel.
Bo Nix.
And it was very popular this offseason to not like Bo Nix in the pre-draft cycle. After he went to Denver, it was popular to be like, what a stupid pick. Sean Payton doesn't know what he's doing. So that is probably the one player we got roasted for the most, having too high in our Dynasty rookie rankings this offseason. So we are absolutely in on Bo Nix for sure. You're talking to the right people here.
Yeah, no question. No question, love brother. Bo, come on.
You want to go to the next one for us?
I'm actually trying to find it because I've been trying to keep up with the chat here. It said Monster, the Midway Chicago Bears is on. Stand up. Jay, he said, what advice do you have for reading the draft board for start 9? I'm picking 10 and I like to learn how to read other teams better. I think it's just being aware, like really understanding how people are drafting each and every
The reality is, if you're drafting at pick 10 and you're in a 10-man, you can't really read the board necessarily, right? Like, let's just be very clear.
Yeah.
If you're at the 12 spot or if you're at the 1 spot, reading the board doesn't apply as much to you because when you make your picks, you have 24 picks left in between your 2 picks.
If anything, you have to be okay with reaching more than you're 100%. You have to be okay with reaching more than
you don't want to go for like the 30th player on the board, but like you can reach like 4 or 5 spots on the edge. But let's say you're at the 10 spot and it's a 12-man league, right? Well, if you're at the 10 spot and it comes to the 310, for example, that's not a good example. Let's go like to the 603, right? 510. 510 is better. Let's say you're at the 10 spot and the 510 comes. Well, what does team 11 and 12 need? All right. Do they need a tight end? Do they need a quarterback? Do they need wide receivers or running backs? That's going to give you some intel on what's probably the best move to make at the 510 so you can set yourself up for the 603, right? If both of these teams don't have tight end at the 510 and there's an elite one on the board, you should probably draft that tight end, right? You should probably not wait 4 picks to see if these guys who need a tight end end up drafting it. So hopefully that makes sense. Did we reach our goal? I think we did reach our like goal, which is awesome.
I think we did. All right.
So let's go ahead and get another mock draft started for you guys.
Yeah, guys, and if you guys want to join this mock draft, you guys know how to do so. Join our Discord. That link is in the description. I just put that in the chat there as well. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs. Go to announcements, and that's how you can join each and every mock draft. It is first come, first serve. And once I get that link, I will send that link out to you guys immediately.
Well, I'm going to ask them what kind of draft they want to do. I'm going to give you 3 options, okay, guys? I'm going to give you start 7, start 8, start 9, and super flex. All right? So I'm going to give you a ton of options here, and whatever the people vote on is what we will do, and I'll be right back, Badaki. Entertain them while I'm gone.
Yeah. So make sure you guys vote. Go from there, and I'll continue with answering these questions. Gator France said, grab Benson not as a late round flyer or stats TJ Hawkinson on IR. I would say you could potentially do both. If TJ Hawkinson is available, pick him up, put him on your IR, and then pick up Ben Sinnott or Sinnott. However way you want to go. I think his value does rise, obviously, with Jahan Dotson now moving forward. So I would keep that in mind. Gregory says, do we like Saquon and Henry back-to-back 1 and 2? Well, it depends. You start 12. Like, for example, if you look at the board here today, which I don't think Zach is showing as he walked away, but, Saquon went at the 112, and then Derrick Henry went at the 204. I would personally take Saquon Gibbs, Saquon JT. But, if all those guys are gone, I don't mind taking Derrick Henry. Just really depends on how that starts for you and where you are at on the board. Trent says, seems Kyren's news is blown out. Have Waddle and Achane both been PRs? Yeah, I mean, there are some reports saying that his,
Okay,
that
I'll jump in here just quickly. By the way,
yeah,
what like having a wide receiver return kicks very different to your running back. Like we see that very often. That's not uncommon. But historically, if a starting running back returns kicks, that has never been good. Genuinely, like for the running back position, tell me a single time that's been good in the past 5-10 years. But wide receivers, it's not as big of a deal. And as far as Devon Achane was, he wasn't really the RB1 yet when they were using him. He still might not be the RB1 in their depth chart when they were using him in fantasy football anyway.
yeah. And look, you just got to keep that in mind. I mean, it's a different situation, but the Giants had that, and we used one of our corners from I think it was Darnell Holmes or somebody else that we used, and we didn't have any corners. Gets injured, done. We're struggling in the secondary, and we don't have a punt return. Like, why would you do that using a running back, right? Like, you have the 1-2 punch in Blake Corum and Kyren. Like, you have, I mean, you have Tutu Atwell. Throw him back there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, big time. All right, what does the poll say? What have you guys voted on? It looks like 38% of people want a start 7 mock, so that's what we will do. We'll do another start 7 mock.
A lot of people have start 7 leagues here. No.
Yes. It is the most common fantasy format, I guess. Not really my favorite fantasy format, but we want to help the people out.
We gotta make a start 9, start 8 more common. Come on, guys. Just one more flex. That's all you gotta do. Get another flex spot.
Let's go ahead and send that out. I'll take the 1.
I started from the 1. I'll take the 12. Maybe I'll get 2 tight ends this time. Once again, join our Discord. 3, 2, 1. That link is now in the Fantasyland tab under announcements. You guys can join that.
Yeah. Cool. This is going to fill up pretty quickly. Reminder, 1 quarterback, PPR, start 7. All right. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. I'm on the clock here. Let's take Christian McCaffrey.
Season ending in your reserve. Gosh.
Again, friendly reminder, if you have yet to subscribe to our new channel called Fantasy Never Stops, go ahead and subscribe over there. I'll put that link in the chat. Appreciate everybody who's showing love over on that new channel that we're taking on. It's been really fun so far. Breece Hall at the 102. All right. That's a little surprising to me. Set says, made my home league switch from start 7 to 8 last year and get rid of defense and kickers. They loved it. And now we are start 9. Yes. I love start 9.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Start 9 is where I want to be personally.
You just got to dip your feet in just a little bit and then boom. There you go. It's like, it's a whole new world.
Whole new world. All right, so we see CMC, Breece Hall. Then we see a huge run of receivers with Lamb, Hill, St. Brown, Jefferson, Chase. See, this is an example where I would go Chase over Justin Jefferson. But yeah, I guess in some home leagues, you could probably see that happening.
Yeah, 100%.
And now Weston is on the clock here.
Didn't he used to have this Aaron Rodgers image, or was that from Jay Spike? He used to have that image, or who was that?
Yeah, I used to have that image.
Yeah, I used to have that.
That was ages ago, though.
Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like when we first started doing mocks on YouTube.
Yep.
So a huge run of wide receivers in the start 7. And Bijan Robinson falls to the 109 there.
That's very surprising.
That is incredible. I thought that was going to go a completely different way there. Saquon Barkley off the board. That makes things a lot easier for me. Just want to triple check here what I have. I know who I'm going to say. Yeah. I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs and Puka.
All right. Jahmyr Gibbs, Puka Nacua. A start we see very often at the 12. That's a tough spot to be on the turn there, but I do think that makes a lot of sense. I had that start in our home league, actually, and I went Saquon Taylor. Gibbs wasn't available. I would have probably gone Gibbs Saquon, but I went Saquon Taylor there. I felt very good about the way this draft went for us in the home league, though. I thought Cup was a huge value. Rice was a huge value. JSN, Ladd. We went Polk. We went Dak Prescott really late. So, overall, pretty happy with how that league went there.
Yeah, normally home leagues got to go kind of crazy. I mean, yeah, Puka fell to the 205 for me. I got Jamar Chase, Puka, Jalen Waddle, Dalton Kincaid there with. I mean, the list kind of goes on with my type of people that I have. So I'm loving this team here in our home league. But yeah, starting those 3 wide receivers is kind of incredible.
What's up, Dom? He says, had my first work league today. Got CD at the 106.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Well, tell everyone to just transfer the money directly into your account at this point then.
They must not be caught up.
Yeah.
They must not know CD got signed.
CD can't fall past the 102, in my opinion, in any draft.
No, not anymore. I don't think so.
Johnny Boy says, what advice do you have for a second-year fantasy player like me? Enjoy the ride. Subscribe to the channel.
Don't overthink it.
I would say subscribe to the channel genuinely, because we are helping you guys win your leagues via waiver wire every single year. I mean, if you go back last year, week 1 waiver wire, a lot of people were telling you that Puka Nacua, this was like a joke. It's not repeatable. That Kyren Williams was a joke. That he's too small. And I remember that waiver wire video, we were telling you, that had 65,000 views, which was awesome. But we were telling y'all about Puka Nacua, about Justin Jefferson, about Gus Edwards, all these guys that ended up helping people win leagues. So go subscribe to the channel is what I would say. We have weekly start sits for every position. We'll do stashes on the channel, trade fours, probably trade aways, starts of the week. So that would be my biggest advice, and not just us. Obviously there's a lot of great channels out there. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we're going to be helping you throughout the whole way, honestly. Every single day is going to be a video for you to improve your team and win your league.
All right. We started with Christian McCaffrey. We are going to grab Nico Collins here.
Nice.
Again, don't care about risk as much in this format. And we are going to grab Jalen Waddle here.
Hey.
Gunnar says, fantasy advice for new players, trust in the guts, in the guys that are undeniably, ideally, wide receiver 1, bell cows. Yeah, that is some good advice. Gibbs in the second round. That's crazy, Dom. So wait, you got Gibbs at the 207? So you started Lamb and Gibbs. That's insane. Yes, start 8 does equal 2 flex. That's right. Start 7 is 1 flex. What's up, Cap for Life? He says, gentlemen, football is back, baby. Saw you guys on the flock making moves. Yes, sir.
Hey, love, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. That was fun. Frank says, non-PPR keeper. Pick one, JT, JJ Hill, or CD. Non-PPR meaning no points per reception.
Is that how big is the difference there for these wide receivers versus?
I still think you gotta go. Wow, that's tough. I still think you gotta go Hill or CD. Although Taylor's in consideration, I think I would go Tyreek Hill because he has a chance to get 2,000 yards.
Yeah, I still like Hill over JT personally. And if you look at, standard leagues, Tyreek Hill, 16.1 fantasy points per game. He scored the most fantasy points per game last year in a standard league.
Even in standard?
So, even in standard.
No PPR?
No PPR. Yeah.
Yeah. Bears fan says, what is a bell cow? Huh?
No, sorry, continue. Go for it.
Bears fan says, what is a bell cow running back? Bell cow just means they are the guy, the workhorse. Like, think what Josh Jacobs was all those years in Las Vegas, getting 80% of the opportunity in that backfield. Guys like Christian McCaffrey who are dominating opportunity share. What Pacheco did last year, what Etienne did last year, what Derrick Henry's done so many years in Tennessee. Guys that are essentially like unquestionably going to get a shit ton of work, basically.
Yeah. Just they are the main focus in their offense, or one of the main focuses in their offense, and that's normally the guys that you see in the first, second round: CMC, Brees, Saquon, Gibbs, Bijan. Those are the bell cows. I mean, you can throw JT, Derrick Henry into that conversation, and then you have a little bit of a different mix. Like, I personally will put Travis Etienne into that bell cow situation, but do you put Pacheco into that? Do you put Jacobs or Devon? I think those top guys, at least top 8 running backs, are normally the bell cows there.
Here's a good example. Like, Achane is not a bell cow running back, right? Achane is someone who thrives off of efficiency. Now, he's probably going to get around 15 touches per game, but that's not something that you would consider necessarily a bell cow running back where they're sharing with another part of their backfield. So that would be a good example, I guess. Like Gibbs as well. Like, Gibbs is not a bell cow.
I did say Gibbs is the bell cow. Yeah, you're right.
He's not a bell cow. He shares with David Montgomery, but Gibbs and Achane are just such efficient runners. They're so dynamic, so explosive, and such good offenses that you worry about their opportunities a little bit less. Johnny says, do you play on Yahoo? No, we don't. We play on Sleeper.
No, we don't. All of our leagues are on Sleeper.
That doesn't mean we have a problem with Yahoo. It's just we prefer Sleeper. Start 9 means 3 flex spots, but in a 2-quarterback league, they would just say they're in a super flex or a 2-quarterback league. Now, you can be in a 2-quarterback league that start 9. You can be in a 2-quarterback league that start 8. Essentially, what format you're in is determined by your starting lineup, right? So right now we have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a single flex. That's a start 7. But if we had a super flex as well, it'd be a start 8. Start 8 super flex. If we had 2 quarterbacks, it'd be start 8, 2 quarterback. So it's all about the amount of starters in your lineup.
All right.
So let's recap the first 3 rounds. Josh Allen was the first quarterback at the 304. We are seeing a lot of running backs come off the board. We are seeing a lot of receivers come off the board. Kupp at the 306. I felt like Neighbors was a huge value at the 405. You and Jelson did take tight ends at the 401 and the 402. Those were the first ones off the board. Joe Mixon going a little earlier. Rachaad White going a little earlier. Pacheco going a little earlier. Again, in a start 7, those running backs do get pushed up the board a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad I went running back there with Joe Moneybags. Yeah, Swifty at the 409.
I don't think I've ever seen DeAndre Swift go that high this year.
Not at all. I mean, you must be a Bears fan, brother.
That shocked me. I'm not gonna lie. Okay.
All right, Johnny. Thank you so much, man.
All right, so we are gonna go elite quarterback, elite tight end here. We will grab Lamar Jackson, and I will go ahead and pair him up with Mark Andrews on this turn. I know Mark Andrews is dealing with an injury. I expect him to play week 1, but we will have to monitor that. But in the first 5 rounds of a start 7, I do ideally want to get elite quarterback, elite tight end. It's just so easy to fill out your starting lineup. I think the difference maker in winning a championship and having a good team and making the playoffs is those onesie positions in this format.
Yeah, 1,000%. That's why I took Travis Kelce there at the 401, the first tight end off the board, and then you have the run there, which is exactly what you want to see. Come on. Keep going. Keep going.
Ethan says, had my draft yesterday, went Brees, Kyren, Evans, Allen, Kincaid, Rice, Pickens. Really happy. That's great. I love that.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Unlucky about Kyren.
No worries, Bears fan. Yeah, hopefully that is helpful. Brandon says, keeping Kyren for a 9th rounder in my $1,600 league. People got me scared. For a 9th rounder, though, Brandon, I mean, you're chilling, dude. You're chilling.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Akshay says, would you trade away the 101 and the 812 to bring the 111 and the 311 in a 12-team PPR?
Wait, the 111, the 101,
and this is
and
redraft,
the
I'm assuming, not dynasty. Redraft on quarterback.
Really in a dilemma here, he says.
I
think in a dynasty,
redraft
one quarter. All right, so the 101 CMC or
the 111 is so up for grabs. I actually think I would need a little bit more.
2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 1 flex, 2 running backs.
I think I would ask either like instead of sending the 812, you send like a 10th round pick instead. That might make it more even. Or if you get the 111 to 312 and let's say they're 5th and you send your 7th and 8th, that would make more sense. But I think that is just a little too rich for me given how unknown the 11 spot is.
Yeah, I would still with the 101. And the 311. Yeah, that's tough. All right, so we see that run of tight ends there. Then you have C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray was somebody that I was contemplating on taking. If I took Kyler Murray, I just felt like those wide receivers that were going to come back to me, I would have been really frustrated. 24 picks I have to wait. How many wide receivers are going to come back to me there? That's going to be my wide receiver 2. You know, Terry's my wide receiver 2 with Jaden Reed, my wide receiver 3. That would have been a tough go depending on who comes back to me here. But let's wait and see. Maybe I get lucky. George Pickens there at the 6-6.
Okay. So we did just get a tweet from Coach Speak Index.
Did we? Okay, let's see.
And I will read it out for all of you guys, and we can watch that interview as well. But let me just make my pick, and then we will look at this all together. I'd like to hear his thoughts on it, because according to his database, we should take this report quite seriously. But I'm curious to see what the man himself has to say. Christian Kirk goes off the board. George Pickens in the 6th round. That's where he was going before the hype started. That feels like a great value, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just reading this now. Once you make your pick there, we can break it down.
Yes, sir. All right, so we are going to grab. Only one flex spot here, so we are going to prioritize running back and wide receiver. We'll go David Montgomery. And we will also grab... Oh, man, I think running back is where the value is here. We'll grab Brian Thomas here at the 701. All right, let's read this out together. So this is Coach Speak Index. He does great work. Rams head coach Sean McVay on Kyren Williams' expanded role. He says Kyren is going to... This is Sean McVay. Kyren is going to be our punt returner, and it's another opportunity for him to get touches that impact the game, and you feel comfortable with that because of the confidence in Blake Corum and Ronnie Rivers being able to spell him, if need be. Okay, if need be. Kyren is a guy that we want to continue to have different ways that he can impact the game, and that's one that's going to be reflected. So this is now Coach Speak's opinion. He says, it sounds like Kyren is a punt returner, allowed them to cut Xavier Smith. This might be of high value to McVay and the Rams, but we are getting 0 points out of these punt returns unless Kyren houses one, and it's increasing his chances of getting injured. So that is obviously not good. He says another opportunity for him to get touches and impact the game. Blake Corum and Ronnie are if need be. and Kyren is a guy that we want to continue to have different ways that he can impact the game. All good signs for Kyren. I don't know that I really agree with him on that.
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't
sure
think
how
so.
you.
I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
Bellingham
I
need to be
don't think I
particularly
can
bullish.
read that and say, yes, this is good for Kyren. To me, this just tells me that he has that much confidence in Blake Corum that he's willing to put Kyren in a more compromised position.
I agree.
I'm reading that. I'm not reading that the same way as Coach Speak Index here.
Being able to spell him if need be is particularly bullish. I mean,
I don't really agree.
putting him out on punt return is pretty bullish as well. I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I mean, we could be reading this wrong, but I don't personally read that and think this is good sign. Like that was his takeaway. This is good sign for Kyren. I don't read that as a good I'm not going to say it's negative, but I don't see how this is positive. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I'm curious if anyone else has left a thought on the.
Definitely wanted Tony Pollard there. But that's okay. I'm going to go quarterback here because he's not going to come back to me. And I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba there.
Love it. I was thinking Jason at 701, so I'm shocked he got back to you. But let's recap the 7th round. Najee Harris, Ramondre, Mostert, Odunze, Ferguson, Javonte, Zamir White, Deontay Johnson, Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, Jordan Love, and JSN. Yeah, I don't read that the same way, man. You know, we love Coach Speak Index. Really, really great resource in our space, but I don't think we're reading this the same way as them. I was waiting for like some part of the interview that we didn't see. You know what I mean? Because when he said people are overreacting, I was like, okay, what's this context that we don't know yet? And to me, this is just spinning an opinion on it, which could be right and could be wrong.
I mean, look, I agree. It also just seems like very cash that Sean McVay would just put his running back at risk there. Like, if you feel that way, like, why aren't you putting a wide receiver in that position? You know, like, why aren't you putting Ronnie there? Like, he may not have the best punt returning skills, but get him in some work. I don't know. I think it's a bit. I think it's a bit iffy personally, but I also think Sean McVay is one of those guys that says one thing, and then something could happen, something else can happen. But
this is why we have Coach Speak Index. He is a trustworthy coach talking about usage, so that tells us if he says Kyren's going to return punts, he means it. Because this is over years and years and years of information and data that says he said one thing, did he follow up on it? And more times than not, he does have reliable usage. Coach speak.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So that's really interesting. You and I not reading it the way that Coach Speak Index is. That doesn't mean we're right, by the way. That does not at all mean we're right.
Not at all.
It just means we have maybe a slightly different opinion on how we're translating the words. All right, so
I don't see how that's good. I mean, he also said it. Sorry, he also said like more risk for injury. He says, but we're getting 0 points off these punt returns unless Kyren houses one and increases his chances of getting injured.
Yeah.
And then he goes,
I don't get.
Like, but this is all are good signs for Kyren.
Yeah, I don't agree. I'm gonna hit 2 handcuff running backs here. Blake Corum, who has been my favorite handcuff in all of fantasy football this year. You guys have heard me say that many times. And we're gonna hit Trey Benson as well. And a start 7. I don't technically need these guys, but if an injury happens, they could be the reason I win my league. So yeah, really interesting. Coach Speak is typically good at being indifferent or like partial, if that makes sense. Like not, I feel like their account is very good at just reporting news and not giving an opinion on it. But that felt
maybe
not like how they normally operate.
Maybe he is thinking in the sense of like, okay, is Kyren Williams going to do punt returns and then lose his work? No. It's just Sean McVay saying that he's going to get more opportunities in different areas. He's not taking opportunities away. So maybe that's what Coach Speak Index is kind of replying to the community. Like, hey, Kyren Williams is going to be getting punt returns, and then Blake Corum could potentially be the lead guy or take more opportunities away from Kyren.
So
I think maybe that's what he's
by the way,
responding to. Like, he's not losing opportunity. He's just going to be more at risk to get injured, which is
I think we should be
losing opportunity.
super clear on how we are digesting this information. How I'm digesting this information is that Blake Corum is still the number one running back. Okay? Still the number one running back, but they want to use him in punt returns.
Sorry,
Why
Kyren
is that
Williams.
frustrating
You said
to
Blake
me?
Corum. You said Blake Corum, sorry.
Okay, my bad. Kyren Williams is still the RB1. That's what I meant to say. Ignore everything I just said. My bad. Kyren Williams is still the RB1. He is still the guy, but they want to use him in punt returns. Okay? But the reason this is concerning is because you typically don't put a workhorse running back as a punt returner. You want to keep them as fresh as possible. You don't want to put them in unnecessary risk, okay?
So fresh is so clean.
So that is why this is concerning. And does that lead us to believe Kyren already has part of his role taken away by Blake? Not saying the role is gone, but just saying, what if it is a 40-60 straight away instead of a 70-30 like we were predicting?
Yeah. I don't. Just makes me want to avoid him more, to be honest with you.
And we could totally be overthinking it. We could easily be overthinking it. And, Kyren Williams is the RB1 through the first 6 weeks. It's totally possible.
Yeah.
But I think there's multiple ways to read that report.
You know what would be so not funny, but funny? First week, Kyren Williams, punt return, injured. 3 to 4 weeks.
That would be
Sean,
awful.
this is why we don't put him there.
That would
be awful. And then I think everyone just be like, I told you so. Sean is gonna definitely see some tweets about fantasy football about putting Kyren in punt returns.
Oh, he's probably already seeing it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Kay, I think that's probably how we're reading it too. Kyren's going to do the punt returns. He'll be first and second down back. Corum's going to play third down role. And I still think Kyren will be involved on the goal line, but I think Corum will be annoying enough to really piss off Kyren Williams owners on the goal line. Yeah. Pacheco or Henry Bears fan says, I'm going Derrick Henry, but I understand why people want to go Pacheco. It's funny.
Yeah,
There was this tweet that came out recently, and someone was making the case that, well, when the Ravens are down, they're not going to use Derrick Henry. Sure.
You're kidding.
But we're on one of the best offenses in the NFL. How often were the Ravens down last year, or at least not in neutral game script where they were coming back in a game? Not very often, because they are one of the best offenses in the NFL. So I get why that would be a concern. That would be a concern if he was on the Titans, who are probably constantly trying to come from behind.
I mean, when the Ravens were down, they were still running the ball.
That's true.
I mean, just gives you more reason for them to run the ball this year.
And by the way, guys, you should know this watching our channel. We're going to be wrong on some things. Just be aware. We're going to be wrong on some things this year. But we are always trying to make as many decisions with as much information as we can. And Jepson just sniped me so hard on Josh Palmer. That was exactly who I wanted to draft there. So that is very unfortunate. But we will go ahead and grab Rico Dowdle here.
Nice.
And then we'll come back with a wide receiver. And that wide receiver will be Jalen Polk, who I can't seem to stop drafting every time we do a mock draft.
Every time I want to draft him, every time I say, oh, I'll wait because he's so far down ADP, you always take him.
Yeah.
He's like, he was down there. I was like, oh, he'd be okay. I'll wait.
By the way, Brandon, I didn't know this was true, but you're totally elevating my point here, and I love that you said this. He says the Ravens were the second team ever to lead every regular season game with 3 minutes left. Them and the 72 Dolphins. So, yeah, maybe that's a little bit of a silly concern because you can make the argument the other way, Badaki, that this is the best offense Derrick Henry's ever been on, and what if they're up by multiple touchdowns in every game and Derrick Henry is just carrying the rock 30 times. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Come on, Dirk. Dirk, they call him.
Gunnar says, what is Palmer's ceiling finish? I'd say a top 24 receiver.
Same with Quinton. Top 24.
I mean, I would say McConkey and Palmer both have top 24 upside.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Okay. Let's see who to go here. I like this team. I thought I was going to struggle on the edge there. But the fact that I got JSN and Shakir on the comeback there, and still got my quarterback that I really like in Jordan Love, I think it's pretty phenomenal. You took Rico, didn't you? All right, so I'm going to end it off here with Brandon Cooks. I'm just going to waste as much time as possible. I have him on my queue already. And then I'm going to take Marshawn Lloyd, maybe second half of the season. That's kind of where we start seeing him come about.
I think he makes a lot of sense as a late round pick now, with the news of A.J. Dillon being on the IR. So yeah, I like that pick a lot. Hey guys, just a heads up, if you do want to support this channel, if you do want reliable rankings that are constantly being updated, cheat sheet that has my guys, cheat sheet that has positional rankings, fades, boom busts, sleepers. If you want your team to be reviewed, let's say you just finished your home league today and you want to review a team for Badaki and I to view it, well, very, very simple. All you need to do is become a Motherflocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll put a direct link in the chat. You'll get 30% off when you use our promo code. You'll get our cheat sheet. If you're a yearly member, it got to be yearly. You'll get a team review. You'll get the rankings that update in season as well for every single week. You'll unlock all the premium trade tools on the website. So if you want to support this channel, as well as get some cool perks in return, that is how you can go about doing so.
Yeah, huge love, guys. We appreciate you. And make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to the channel, not only here, but there with the Fantasyland Never Stops as well. We're going to be posting a lot more content over there on the Fantasy Never Stops channel on the shorts. And stay tuned, because next week, if I'm not mistaken, next week or the end of this week, we're going to start doing Q&As. Once you guys are done with your drafts, live Q&As, starting on the queue, you know, drop your comments here early when we put that that scheduled up for the live stream, because it's real. It's happening.
It's real.
It's for real. Which is kind of crazy how soon football starts. I mean, essentially it's a week and 2 days until we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens, and Durka Henry scoring 2 touchdowns there at Arrowhead. Rashee Rice, maybe a touchdown. Travis Kelce, maybe a touchdown. Maybe Xavier Worthy with the sneaky one. Maybe everyone scores. Isaiah Pacheco, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Zaza. Everyone's scoring touchdown.
We can only say maybe, because who knows exactly what will happen. Y'all can see right up there, okay? We got a goal to reach 20K before the season starts. You guys are honestly insane helping us get there.
Yeah,
we appreciate you so much. We are now 795 subs away from 20K. If you've been lurking on the channel for a while, be a friend, hit that sub button. We appreciate you big time. We did 3 mock drafts today. We answered a lot of your questions. We had a lot of fun. And we do have wide receiver rankings already up on the channel if you want to go watch that and keep watching some content. We'll be live tomorrow night doing a real draft, not a mock draft. Tomorrow will be a real draft, real money on the line, real league.
Bravo League.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out. All love.
Love.